There was a point in my life where I had determined that I would never leave Kansas City. I'd lived in LA, lived in Tampa, Florida, lived in Greenville, South Carolina, Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And when I moved home from Fort Lauderdale, I'd made a decision, I'm never leaving again. I'm staying home, my whole family's here, this is where I belong. But God has a way of changing that. When I'd moved back from Fort Lauderdale, I was single. I didn't get married till I was 45 years old. When I met Lynn and Dylan and Joanna, I decided we're going to stay in Kansas City the rest of our lives. My whole family was there. We were very close. We were just a few hours away from Illinois, where she grew up and her family is. And it was a perfect place to be. We were in a great church. We were active in a couple of different churches and actually helped starting a church. Then we went back to Graceway, the church that I basically grew up in my after my college days, and my spiritual growth began there. I decided that, well, I didn't really decide anything. God started taking my heart away from Graceway. I'd loved the church, loved the pastor, my best friends were there. We had a great time there. But something was missing, and the fire just seemed to start going out. When that happened, all of a sudden, Joanna goes on a missions trip to China, and she meets Nathan Boshin, Steve's oldest son. They went on a missions trip. So God started taking this desire away, and then Lynn and Krista hooked up on Facebook, I think, or email, and Krista invited Lynn to go on a missions trip. So we went on this, we decided to go as a family vacation because we'd been on mission trips, but we hadn't been together. So when we went, we had the time of our lives, the best vacation we'd ever been on. And we came back and we were excited about it. We got to see God do some great things down in Kalina. It was the following October, after the missions trip in July in 2014, we decided, I asked Lynn, what do you want for Christmas? She said, I want to hug a Mexican baby. And I kind of grinned and I said, you're serious, aren't you? She says, you betcha. And I said, okay. So I was content to stay in Kansas City. You want to move to San Diego? I don't know. She started dropping that hint. And Joanna wanted to go, and Dylan wanted to go. I said, well, God hadn't told me anything. And they were all emphatic. God's telling us to go to Mexico. I said, to San Diego. Well, if he tells us to go, if he tells me to go, I'll go. We'll go. Economically, it didn't make sense. Relationship-wise with our family, it was crazy. Everybody says, what are you giving? You have a great career. What are you giving your career away for? You're in a great church. They don't need you in San Diego. You're just a family. You're just one family. What impact could you have there? Well, the impact that we could have is neither here nor there. If God tells you to do something, you do it. So we packed up a U-Haul truck, and we had a bunch of stuff shipped out through another U-Haul truck. And we moved out here and got here June 2nd in 2015. And I didn't know where I was going to work. Had no idea. And to be honest with you, it's been stressful at times. It's created stress. Send out 100 resumes, you might get 2 or 3 responses. You might get an interview or 2 out of it. And it's been a long trial, and God used it as a test in my life to teach me to be patient and to be more content than I was. Because contentment's not hard when you've got money, and you've got money you can put in the bank every month, and you have no financial worries. But when you're stretched to your limit, that's when you find out who you really are and what you really need and what God really wants to work on in your life. But Manly Beasley's a famous old country preacher back through the Midwest. And he always used to say, find out what God's doing and get in on it. Little things like that, how God just brings that to you, and the Holy Spirit just pounds that away at you. What are you trusting me for? What are you trusting me for? What are you going to do? Can you carry a heavier cross than you're carrying now? Because the one you got's kind of light. I know today the one thing that really has been the biggest change in my life is God sent me out to get to know Him better. Not to go on more missions trips, although I love missions trips. Not because of the blessing of Feed America. I love Feeding America. It's none of that. The biggest thing God wanted me to do was to know Him and know the power of His resurrection, know the power that He has and the power to change lives. And that you're 60 years old now, and finish strong. Finish strong.